This is the Michael Bryan Show. Hey everyone, we are back with part 3 of the Ask Mike series, and we have got a couple of questions. I think we have 5 today, and let's go. If you could have any 3 people, dead or alive, over for dinner, who would you invite? I would love to have dinner with Leonardo da Vinci. I think the way that he thinks, I just think he'd have some really great insights about the world, and he would be my number 1. I would love to have over for dinner the entity that created everything. I just have some questions about why he or she or it did it. I just think that there is a real life-changing moment there where you're sat across from the entity that made everything that we see, that we feel, the entire universe, and probably others as well, we will see. And I just think that that would be a monumental conversation between me and them that would satisfy my curiosity for the bigger questions that we have. And for my third person, I would probably go with someone along the lines of Neil Armstrong, because he has seen things that not many people have. He's had the opportunity to meet amazing people, so it's almost like an accumulation of seeing the bigger picture, understanding the universe at a higher level, and also the mixture of all of the conversations with all of the influential people that he has had. I think that he would be an interesting conversation as well. Second question is, how do you deal with criticism and negative feedback? So this question has an interesting side to it. And the reason is, I actually consider the person giving the feedback, if they are knowledgeable about the thing and they are giving feedback in a way that actually helps me improve and get better, then I take most of it on board. And the main reason for that is insights can come from different places. It doesn't necessarily have to be someone that you consider valuable. It doesn't have to be someone that you judge to be of value before you listen to them. So you can't necessarily judge a book by its cover, but they need to be able to prove their knowledge and their competency in some way. After that, if I think that it will improve the outcome, I usually experiment with things and I will try it at least once, and then I will see if the results are better. Because the proof is in the pudding, and that is where that will come from. Now, if it's simply just hate comments and negativity and hateful emails and things of that nature, I just ignore them. Face-to-face is a different matter, though. So if it's online, it's so easy to just ignore it and move on. If it's offline, then that's a little bit different, because usually it's a bit more personal. They can see your eyes when they're doing it, and usually people will refrain from intense language face-to-face that they would use online. So it's usually a little different in terms of the conversation, and I will then, in some ways, just try my best to endeavour to help them, just to make them feel a bit better about their situation, about my situation, and usually we still part as friends. Doesn't always happen, but I try my best to solve the problem and see how we can move forward. Third question is, what are your own ambitions for the future? My ambitions for the future right now are to achieve more stability and more peace next year. So that is the plan. I've put together a system for the businesses and for the show to be able to travel if we wanted to, and there are things in place that are happening now which will bear fruit next year. Other than that, I think we will just see an increase in the lifestyle choices that we are able to make. So it's more about choice and decision making and freedom in, say, 2 or 3 years than we currently have right now, and they will have their own benefits. That's where I see this going. How do you manage stress and pressure? One of the first things that I do is actually acknowledge the fact that the pressure to perform is one of the reasons why people actually do perform. If you've got low standards and low expectations and low levels of pressure because you don't have to meet any expectations or standards, then you rarely actually do. The pressure to perform coincides with the actual performance and the actual results. So you have to acknowledge that pressure is a good thing as long as you can meet those. So it's more about your abilities as a person, whether it's in business, sport, life in general, being able to handle pressure and essentially perform under pressure. That leads to the better results. That leads to your life being better. You can't get round that. So how do you deal with it? You improve yourself. And as soon as you are actually better, then the pressure actually starts to drop because you can perform, because you can actually achieve the thing that you want under those conditions. So think of your abilities and your skills, not the pressure and the stress. You need to improve yourself to be able to bring those things down to a manageable level. There was a question on part 2, which is similar to this, but I thought I'd add it in anyway, which is, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received? Now, my best piece of advice I've ever received is along the lines of get happy first, and then it's about maintenance. It's about stability. It's about your ability to stay happy and stay at peace as much as possible. And it's not always the best thing for you. It's not always easy to measure. But if you're in a space where you're happy, if you're in a space where you're at peace and all of the pieces of your life fit together quite well, then it's about trying to keep that. And everything that takes you away from that, you need to find a way to remove from your life. You've got to find a way to remove negativity and add positivity every single day. That is my best piece of advice. I hope this is something that is benefiting you. Feel free to share your thoughts on social media. Send over your questions over to the Michael Bryan on all the socials. And I hope that this is benefiting you. I'll see you at the next one. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your week.